This is Manage Your Energy Part 2. So if this doesn't look familiar, go ahead and watch Part 1, but we'll do a quick little recap. I start out with my bubble, and then I put my grounding cord in at the base of my spine, and then I widen it out about as wide as my hips. All the unhelpful energy in my system that I don't need goes down that. I put my big golden sun up here and let it fill up with all the energy I've left here and there, and I don't really care where from. I let it melt down into me and my bubble. And then, of course, I throw on my protection rose. I was taught it as a rose, but mine has morphed over the years. And remember to get your stem down in the ground so that any energy that comes my way that is not helpful to me will just get absorbed by this protection rose and go down in. So now I want to talk about when you're in the middle of a situation, like someone's spewing vitriol at you. I just put a rose up right in that moment between me and them, and I let all that stuff go into the extra rose. And it'll amaze you because you'll just be in here going, yep, I'm all fine. And they'll do their rant, and then they'll be done. They're like, all of a sudden, like, well, okay. And they just stop. And then you're like, okay, we can carry on now, either with them or whatever you're doing. So that's an important thing to know when you're in the moment. Another important thing to know is if I feel other energy in my space, and sometimes I know who it is, and sometimes I don't know who it is, I just put an extra rose up here. So sorry for the quality of my roses. And then, just like a vacuum, I just let that rose fill up with that energy that's in my space. And in my mind, the rose turns gray. Kind of looks like that gray stuff in the vacuum once you're done vacuuming. And then you can do whatever you want with it once it fills up. You can eject it into space. You can do a Acme Roadrunner cartoon TNT blow up of it. And if it still feels like that energy's in there, you can do another rose and another rose and another rose until it's out. If you know who it is in your space, you can see their face on that rose if you want. And then here's another thing, one more thing, and that is if I find myself in somebody else's space, and that usually can look like, oh, they should be doing this, or they should be doing that, or I'm worried about such and such, or blah, blah, blah. And then when I realize I'm doing that, I'm like, whoops, no, my bad. Gosh, I'm out of room here. So I take my golden sun over to that person. Here we go. Let's put this person over here. Sorry, poor person whose energy I'm invading. As soon as I realize I'm doing that, I take my golden sun over there in front of their bubble. And I usually put curly hair on it because I have curly hair. And then I'm like, whoops, sorry, my bad. And I take my energy out of their space. And I can let it come back over. I don't usually worry about too much. I usually just am more concerned about taking my sun over there and getting my energy out of their space. I don't want to be tentacling into anybody, and I don't want anybody tentacling into me. I want to be a responsible energy manager. And if you want to learn how to run your energy proactively after this, that's going to be in part 3.